Welcome to Michael Pepper Tech. This is a little bit of a different video, but I feel like it's a necessary discussion. And one thing that came to mind over the holiday weekend when I was taking photos and when I was talking to the in-laws, and that is ethics in technology and photography, videography, editing, all sorts of aspects. So one thing that I want to talk about is this idea of what kind of breaks the barrier of ethics when it comes to technology. There's all sorts of things that come to mind, whether it's implants, whether it's like NFC tags, whether it's the neural stuff. And what point do we decide that enough is enough? As a content creator, there's also the aspects of how smartphones have become smarter and smarter, and the AI and the software can do all the work for you. The fake blurs, the HDR. I feel like that is a point at which it's okay, but at what point do we continue to allow this? Do we allow it to the point where you don't even understand if you're talking to a real person, if it's their actual voice? There's software out there now where you can type in and it will take your voice from what you've said and it will put the words in voiceovers and things like that, and you can edit out the ums and the ahs and the different things like that. So at what point does the ethics barrier become broken, and at what point do we decide that enough is enough? Let me know your thoughts on that down below. Of course, I want to continue this conversation with the aspects of the everyday consumer. Some of us understand photography better than others and understand white balance, ISO, shutter speed, exposure, all these aspects that come together to create the exposure. Others just want to be able to pick up a device, snap a photo, and have it turn out great and don't need to understand that stuff. So what differentiates a real photographer versus somebody just picking up and using the device? And at what point does it break that standard? That's another question I would like for you guys to kind of comment on down below. My thoughts are, as long as there's some sort of framing, as long as there's some sort of point where you are acknowledging the subject and you're going in there and you're trying to create an image and you understand how things work, I feel like that's okay. But at the point in which cameras around us can just capture everything and you don't really have to do the work. I know that both Google and Samsung and Apple have been working on projects where if you're at an event and you snap a photo and somebody else is there, you can essentially go in and through a culmination of your images be able to edit things out, be able to even like see through a fence if you're taking a photo and somebody's on the other side of the fence, that it'll merge those images. This brings some concerns because it brings up privacy and it brings up other ethics and just kind of discussions when it comes to how we use our devices. Is technology ruining creativity for us? Is it making it too easy? Is it making it so that we don't really have to understand the tools that are set before us? And I think it really is. And I think it's unfortunate because instead of having to go out there and learn and study, we can just Google things, or we can rely on the tool of the software to do it for us instead of having to spend time and actually put full effort into it. So artists don't necessarily have to fully evolve their technique when they can rely on technology to kind of do things for them. There's filters and there's all this stuff out there, and it's great. But I think that that's still something that we need to really discuss and discern and differentiate between the professional photographer, the avid photographer, the kind of moderate photographer, all the way down to the person who relies on the software and the technology to do most of the work. And I think that it's awesome to see what's going on, but I still feel like that appreciation needs to be made and that we need to appreciate those who have the skills still, and to understand the difference between authenticity, creativity, and kind of fakeness that has become relied upon when it comes to these devices. And so many of us see these images and see the greatness that's created by people using the technology, but don't really understand what that's doing to creativity and what that's doing to art. And as somebody who enjoys photography, who enjoys going out there and taking the time to frame, to adjust exposure, to edit, to appreciate nature and to appreciate the skills that I've been trained in, and that family has come to kind of come together. And from growing up with parents who love taking photos, and my dad used to sit in a dark room and edit black and white photos, and then when color images came out, that kind of changed because it became more difficult. Appreciating that culture and that standard in which has developed unique tools for all of us and skills, and even when it comes to singing, and then there's auto tune and things like this. So let me know down below your thoughts on this, and kind of where do you think that it crosses the line, and where do you think that we need to stop, and where do you think that it's okay to continue. Also, if you have other questions and other ideas that you'd like to see my opinions on, of course, let me know down below. If you're new to the channel, please subscribe, and if you like this video, give it a big thumbs up. Thanks for watching, and I'll see y'all in the next one.